Hey guys, I'm Lee from Lee Likes Music, the place to share, explore, and learn about rock music from Bandcamp. And in today's video, we're going to take a look at Alex G's newest album, which is called Rocket. So that's coming up. So first off, I just want to start this video by giving a shout out to Hype Sage. Hype Sage is another channel by this really awesome dude who also did a review of Alex G's Rocket, and I just wanted to thank him because he gave me some inspiration to make this video and to actually just, yeah, he gave me some stepping stones to create this video. So thanks, Hype Sage. Anyways, Rocket is the newest album by Philadelphia-based artist Alex G, and all of the previous records, I think, that he has released, this is the 8th one that he has been releasing, all the previous ones were self-recorded and self-produced. But with this newest album, Rocket, he has basically signed with a label, which is called Domino. He's very free to do whatever he wants, at least that is what I've heard, and that is something that really puts a mark on this album. He created a lot of momentum in his career when he collaborated with Frank Ocean on his albums Endless and Blonde, so that was something that really spiked his efforts. A lot of people say that he became more confident after that, and that is something that he has been bringing into this album as well. So I was reading an interview before I made this video, and a lot of people tend to say that, and especially in interviews as well, he was asked whether he thought it was good or bad, the fact that he was compared to none other than Elliott Smith. His singing style is, he's kind of taking inspiration from Elliott Smith's singing style in the way that he has this very wistful, sore, very fragile way of singing, but I don't think that this is a thing that goes throughout this whole album. Maybe it is more prominent on his earlier records, but on this album he is switching it up a bit. He has tracks where he's basically screaming for his full voice. Sometimes he's very wistful and calm, other times he's using his voice in a very strong way, so it's a bit of a balance on this album specifically. I really have to say that this whole album is a bricolage of so many different genres. You have jazz, you have americana, you have folk, you have experimental tracks that almost sound a little bit like death grips. The first 4 tracks on the album meanders back and forth between folk, jazz, and americana, and then you have this 5th track, which is called Witch, and this is the track that marks the spot where the album takes more of an experimental, artsy turn. From track number 5 to 9, the band takes a dip into this very lucid, dark, and experimental sauce. It goes on this weird path that keeps the listener very enticed throughout the whole album, and that is great. It keeps, it's like the album is going, it's starting somewhere, and then it goes into this dark sphere, and then it goes back again to where it started, kind of adding a nice atmosphere, and it feels like a journey. It feels like a musical journey altogether. Track number 10 to 14 returns back to this folk vibe with some americana and also some jazz, so it feels like it comes full circle in a way. All the time I try to recall what drove you away from. I also want to mention that there is a sense of experimentation going from ever since the 1st track to the 14th track. I get the sense that I've never heard anything like it before, although a lot of the songs are conformed to these strict styles. It also feels like there's something about the songs that sticks out, and that is really good. It's just a great sign that the album stretches in a way. All the songs stretch and try to expand, but at the same time they're conformed, and they are in that sweet spot between something conformed and not conformed. I want to talk a little bit about Alex as a person, because I feel like that is also bringing us closer to what is actually behind the music and giving a little bit of context to what we're talking about here. So Alex seems like he's kind of an introverted, shy guy. I think that he is very talented, but he's also hardworking and lucky. Lucky in the way that he has just been basically uploading albums that he has written himself. He has uploaded albums to Bandcamp, and that is the way that he got discovered. People wanted to share his music because it was great, and that is the way that he has just built momentum ever since. I think that he cares a lot about music, especially the way, if you look at some of his interviews, you can feel it in the way that he talks about music, and also just the story that he's telling about his life. You can really tell that this guy cares about the thing that he's doing, you know, playing in front of audiences, because that is, I think what he said was that the best way for him to communicate with others, with other people, is through music. So it's his natural way of communicating. And yeah, he was really authentic. He came off as very real when he said that. So I think he's a very talented, of course, very lucky guy to be in his position. Cooperated with frickin' Frank Ocean. That's insane. I want to talk a little bit about the lyricism on the album. I feel like there's an even flow of everything when it comes to the lyricism as well. You have lyrics that are very precise, very concrete. Then you have things that are more abstract and vague. You also have a drift from something that seems to be very positive and nostalgic over to something that is very brutal, harsh, and very depressive. An example of a lyric that is very concrete is something that we can see in County. In the song, we hear Alex, it sounds like he literally puts a conversation that he had with another person down on paper and then sings it to us. See, I got some stories. Hey, why don't you write that into a song maybe? Your fans will dig that. It's pretty weird. It's kind of comedic in a way, I feel, but it's quite authentic, and I feel like it perfectly fits into the song, although it's a bit weird. It just shows that he doesn't have any filter or limit for his creativity in a way. He just puts whatever he wants down on paper, and that's kind of freeing, I guess. Powerful Man is another song that it sticks out on the album. It kind of sounds positive while at the same time sad, especially if you look at the lyrics. As I mentioned, lyrics are also quite direct. They're quite concrete compared to many of the other songs that are a bit more vague and cryptic.
Davey broke the law again. Heard this time he's going to the pen. Guess I didn't eat my lunch.
The narrator, or maybe even Alex G, talks about his family. He envisions himself as being a good father if he ever got a child, and yeah, he also sees himself as a powerful man without any fears, which is kind of an uplifting thing to hear throughout the lyrics. Again, he's very direct. He tells these short stories and vignettes about his brother, about his mom, again about himself, telling these fantasizing futuristic stories of how his destiny might unfold. What I also love about this album, if we look away from the spectrum of so many moods, if we look away from the very creative way of creating lyrics and also the bricolage of all these different genres, what I also love is the small sounds that Alex G is putting into some of the songs here. If you listen to the song Alina, for example, you will hear during the intro of the song specifically, you'll hear this pick that is scraped against the guitar string, and it almost sounds like a monster kind of roaring very slowly, and it also sounded to me like a person that is snoring. I don't know if that is what you experienced it to be, but it just had such a big comparison to other sounds, and it gave the song this very interesting sound, very interesting, yeah, sonic soundscape. During the middle of the song, you can also hear this dog barking, and it just jumps out of the mix so surprisingly at you. So I took off my headphones to listen if there was actually a dog barking outside, but it was on the it was in the song, so that was like, what? The instrumentation here, man, it is so good. You have I just need to look at my sheet of paper here because I can't remember all the different instruments. There's a violin, there's piano, acoustic guitar, synth, banjo, and then there's these auto-tune effects that Alex G is using on his vocals in some of the tracks. And then you have these usual rock instruments like electric guitar, bass, and drums. I've listened to the album maybe like 6 or 7 times right now, and I have to say that this is an album, this is a world, a fantasy world that I just want to get lost in it, because every single time I put this album on, there's something new I learn about it, there's something new I discover, and that is what makes this listening experience that I get from the album, it just makes it so addictive, because yeah, it kind of grows on you in a very rapid way, but at the same time it's still challenging, so you need to give it quite a few spins in order to actually get into it, you know, and that is something I'm liking a lot. So many interesting ideas, the instrumentation, the lyrics, the moods, emotions, the way that Alex is putting his soul into the music here is just amazing. I honestly think that this is gonna be one of the albums of May, my top albums of May, if not even 2017, you know, because this is such an amazing masterpiece of an album that really makes me want to check out more of his music. So yeah, I'm not gonna drag this on for any longer. I'm gonna give this album, Rocket by Alex G, a 9 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like to share, explore, and learn about rock music from Bandcamp, then I highly suggest you click the red subscribe button below. Also make sure to hit that bell icon beside the subscribe button, because in that way you'll always get notified when I upload new videos to this beautiful place. Again, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Bye.